As a courtesy to those in attendance, please place your cell phones on silent or vibrate. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and call this Parks and Rec Committee meeting or Advisory Board meeting to order. Public comment. The board takes public comment on all items in the regular agenda. Public input on a regular agenda item will be taken at its appropriate discussion. Public input on an item not on the agenda or consent agenda may be identified and requested for consideration by the board at this time. The board may request an item to be placed on a future agenda or for a consent agenda item to be moved to the regular agenda for public comment. Okay. Well, is there any public comment?
Sign up, there's nobody.
Everybody looks good, all right. So we'll move on to item number 2, consent agenda. Consider approving the September 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes. And I will entertain a motion when anybody's ready.
Is it the 25th? Which date is correct?
Oh, sorry,
The agenda
printout
says
the
September
23rd.
23, and the minutes say September 25. Okay.
Okay, so let the record show the 25th. This is fun. Okay,
I'll move that we accept the minutes.
all right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Perfect. We'll move on to item number 3, the regular agenda, public hearing and comment. We'll start with item number 2, discuss the River Parks Wayfinding Project and recommend any related matters.
Yes, this is a new project. So it kind of ties back a few years ago. City Council did allocate some funds for particularly signage at Civic League Park with the water lily collection. And so if you recall, I think it was 2 years ago, we got the funding. We did a project that included some additional signs that direct folks from the streets to Civic League Park, the water lily collection. And that was done. It was done fairly inexpensively, too. I think we mostly used the sign shop, the city sign shop, so it kept the cost down pretty low. With that money was to do some signage at the park. If y'all recall, we've designed the entrance sign to the park. We're in the process of trying to find a contractor who can do that project. It's designed, we have the materials. It's just finding a mason who'll do the project. So we hope to implement that soon. And so there was still interest by council to do more. If you can picture along the river trail, there's not really any signs. If you're walking, biking, there's not really any signs that say, hey, the lady in blue is back this way or the fort's back this way. So City Council's really interested in helping to add some wayfinding. So they gave us additional $25,000. And so with that funding, they also had interest in using students at ASU to help with the project. They've done that before. They helped design the graphics for the Red Arroyo Trail, if you can imagine those designs. So I reached out to Edwin Cuenco, a professor there, does, I guess at the art department, does graphic design. It's a pretty cool class. He's got about 16, 18 students. And he said, sure, let's make this a project for this fall. So I met at the beginning of the semester with the students and with the professor. Much of the slides coming up are the presentation I gave to the students. So we're going to involve them in conceptualizing what it could look like and tying it in with the river project. Part of that also, to get it to the final stage where we have signs on the ground, is designing the project. So once we take the conceptuals, we've got to get them designed, physically all the specs, so that we can hire a contractor to create and install those signs. We don't have the money for that part, but we do have the money for the design. So let me show you the scope of the project. Ideally, the scope of the project is from Kirby Park to the sports complex and from connecting downtown through the Paseo down to the pavilions where Los Panchitos is. But that's the entire scope. You know, we don't really have a connection yet to Kirby Park, not a trail connection, so we're likely going to pare that down a bit. Probably it'll be from the water lily collection. I'm hoping to the sports complex, but it may just be to the convention center. We'll see. And the core area is Santa Fe Park, the water lily collection back over here, Sunken Garden Park, Visitor Center, Kids Kingdom, all the major points along the way, the Paseo, River Stage, all the way down. That's the core scope of the project. And talking to the students is, we're hoping to tie what they do, the signage, the structures of the sign, in with the river project, what we've done with the river project. So with the river project, we've used a lot of stone walls, stone columns, some wood. There's a picture of the Bosque. You know, it needs to tie in with the river theme. It's along the river. There's a unique architecture and activities. Here's the stone columns that have LED lights on the top. And then also the sculpted panels. We're hoping to tie their theme, what they create, with what is existing. So the question is, how far do we go with this into the downtown? I'm not proposing at this point that this project includes all of downtown, but it connects the river to, at least from the river level up the ramp to the top. That's what I'm thinking. But yes, this is what the main project would do. Give directions to key locations, how they're in relation to others. You know, have a limited amount of information. You don't want too much text. Simple maps. We haven't talked about it, but maybe even QR codes, but we'll have to have a host site to provide additional information for that. And it needs to be simple and affordable. These are the key locations, and yes, there's not two SAPACs. Thinking not to include any private businesses, because certainly you leave somebody out and those change from time to time. And probably not include places like the high school and Shannon Hospital. So these are most of the key locations we'd like to point out.
Where's the 9/11 memorial?
It's right by the art museum.
I had no idea.
Right here. Just above the Celebration Bridge.
Huh, awesome.
It's a nice memorial. It actually, oh yes, working with Craig Kinney. Craig Kinney was the main designer for the river project. And so he's the one we're working with to help coordinate with the students and take their concepts to design. Craig Kinney, I mentioned him here because he designed the 9/11 memorial back in 2002, 2003.
Awesome.
So yeah, working with the students and Mr. Craig Kinney, the next step, the students are starting their project. The next step is on November 18, Craig and I are going to meet with the students to look at their first concepts and critique those. And like I said, there's about 16 students. And then the next step after that is December 4. I'm hoping that the students will come here and present. We'll probably pare it down to, I'd say, not less than 3, but not more than 5 proposals. I'm hoping they'll come here to a board meeting or there at the city hall and give the presentations. If not, Craig and I will have to do that if we can't get the students to come. So there's a chance for the board to give input on which ones you prefer. And at some point, we'll also be working with some city council and the mayor to show them along the way. These are the concepts that are developing. We'll also take it to city council, the board's recommendation, and hopefully they'll pick the board's recommendation, but that would be the next step. After they pick the one, then we would go to design. So that, I think, is mostly it. Here's just some examples. We showed the students of what wayfinding is. These ones have metal, wood. These are metal. There's one that has stone. So similar in nature to these, but definitely it needs to fit us. So that is the project. We don't really need a recommendation on this. Want to make sure you knew about it. And if you have any thoughts about it, if you have any particular designs you think are interesting that you've seen along the way, feel free to share them with me so we can share it with the class.
Awesome. Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome. Public comment, do we need to take?
Still my thunder, I was just about
Yeah,
to
nobody's
ask.
signed up.
Okay. So good there?
Any thoughts? If not, we'll move on, but
I think it's a great idea, but maybe if you are working with those students, consider ADA compliance and ADA design, making sure the placement of all of these would not create any issues for anyone that might have any mobility impairments, making sure it doesn't put anyone at risk. I think it's important to consider that not just in where these are placed, but in also how they are designed. So if students could possibly consider that as they're putting together their ideas, I think that'd be really important.
good point. Other input?
Yeah, I like how y'all did the splash pad sign. So something like kind of tying into some of the similar, what am I trying to say? The similar things that y'all did on the splash pad sign. Like the same theme, that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah, and there's some question about what level of approval does it also need from the Design Review and Historic Commission, because they do review signs. It depends on, we'll have to see, but I'll have to get with them to see if it needs to go to their commission or if it could be done administratively.
Yeah.
But that'll be with the final concept.
Awesome. Thank you, Carl.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, awesome. Perfect. We'll jump down to item number 3. Hear and discuss updates from Recreation on activities, events, and programs, from Parks on maintenance matters and some projects, and from Construction Management on larger projects. Included in the discussions will be the new Bosque lease, upcoming date night event, recent and upcoming tournaments, the Mountain View Park Skate Park, the Santa Rita Park renovation, Kirby Park Splash Pad project, the Concho Christmas celebration, the Kids Kingdom Playground, the Texas Bank Sports Complex Storage Building project, the Youth Sports Practice Area project, 29th Street Complex, the Riverbank Stabilization Project, the Parkland Dedication Ordinance, the Foundation, and other updates.
All right, next time I won't make the caption so long.
I assume I have to read them? I don't know.
Yeah, thankfully, on the good side, this meeting's going to be short, but this item's a little long. We'll make it as brief as possible. First, we'll hear from Recreation Manager Jesse Bennis about recreation activities.
Yeah, so I'll address all the recreational activities and what we have going on that end. Starting out with, from our last meeting, we discussed pursuing a lease for the Bosque. And based off our meeting with council, we got the approval to go and start pursuing a lease agreement there. Right now, we're wrapping up our fall football season. So we have one more week of regular season games and we have playoffs Also, our teams are eligible to go to the state games, which is through TAF, which that'll be in Greenville this year, and that'll be in November 8th and 9th. So teams will be participating there. Also, San Angelo will be hosting at the sports complex the state games, or the men's state adult flag football tournament, December 6th through the 8th. So there's going to be an adult tournament going on. It's going to be a state tournament, and we get to host it here in San Angelo. So we're really excited about that. We have adult sports going on for the fall season. We have 36 softball teams and 26 volleyball, as well as we're about to start adult football and basketball. We have 6 teams there. Those are our smaller leagues that are going on. And then we are starting our registration for basketball, so youth basketball, which will go, the registration's going now. And then in November, we're going to have a turkey shoot. So that's going to be just anyone can sign up, and we'll be posting the dates on that online. We'll make a post about it. But November 1st, all elementary schools will get a peach jar, a little marketing flyer about basketball registration, the preseason tournament that happens before we get into the season, and then the turkey shoot. But the turkey shoot is that kids and adults get to participate in a basketball shooting contest and a chance to win a free turkey, and then second and third place can win a pie. So, and then there's no registration cost. So this is what's exciting about this event is, hey, it's not a registration fee or anything like that. Yes, we need those leagues and all that, but it's nice to be able just to do something that's just a fun activity for the community, and that's what the turkey shoot's going to be. We'll have that going on. And then also we've decided our theme for date night. Typically it falls at the end of February, but this year we're putting it the first week of March. It'll be Monday through Thursday. So Monday, Wednesday will be daddy-daughter. Tuesday will be mother-son, and Thursday will be family night. And the theme is going to be a Mardi Gras-based theme, Let the Good Times Roll. So we'll have the DJ, we'll have activities, snacks, and all of that, but the theme's going to be, because the way it falls this year, it falls the week of celebrating Mardi Gras. So we're going to go with that theme for that. And we, for Unidad, we started the winterization project of the splash pad. So we've drained it. What we need to do is replace the caps and decide. We'd like to take off the buckets just because the winds that we get in San Angelo, I don't want to leave those up. It's just going about, all right, how many ladders do we need to get up there? And it's probably going to be a 2-person job at least to get each one down safely. So we'll be working on that before we get to the first freezes of the winter season. But we went ahead and started last week of draining it, and then we talked with Water Play, and they got us through the first few steps. I'll get with them again. We just want to make sure we do it right. So we're being extra cautious and having extra discussions this go around, because we want to just make sure that when the freeze happens, because we're bound to get one at some point, that we're in the best place possible for that. And then that's all I have on the recreation.
You don't put like antifreeze in there or anything? No? I was just curious.
Stay up there for the basketball. The Bosque.
Yes, we discussed that at the start.
You did? I
Yes.
missed that. Okay, sorry. Thank you. I didn't hear it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Roger Havlock, Park Senior Manager. So we're kind of turning the page with the seasons right now for parks. Our mowing services still exist, but it's starting to get a little bit slower. Everything's kind of cooling down. Days are getting shorter. So we're starting to look into trees. We'll be looking at planting several trees this year. Our main focus for 24-25 is primarily going to be gardens this year. And so I've told our staff it's the year of the gardens for parks. And so we're looking at what we can do to make some upgrades in those. I know I'll be contacting you, Allison, for some advice and some things on that. But yes, that's kind of our goal for this year. We put a lot of trees in over the years. We're kind of trying to keep some of the spots left for our plant a tree program before we fill everything up. And so we really don't want to fill everything. But yeah, we still have plenty of spots left. but everything's looking pretty good. We've got a couple of irrigation projects we're going to be working on North River Drive in Randolph, and just, again, trying to get back into the swing of things, moving into the tree season, pruning, stump grinding, all those types of things. We did finish off Mountain View Park. They had a ribbon cutting out there that was very nice. And so now our projects crews are starting to look into and get started working collaboratively with Street and Bridge over at the storage building at the sports complex. So that'll be our next project. If things work out, hopefully we'll be putting up a small pavilion over at the sports complex as well while we're in the site. And then after that, hopefully, we'll be moving into Santa Rita, coming up into 2025 and so forth. So with that, again, there's nothing just spectacular going on, but we're plenty busy with a lot of projects, a lot of moving parts. Today, we did host the Texas Recreation and Park Society Equipment Rodeo, and so we did have some good teams come in from Abilene and Lubbock and San Angelo, and so that was a lot of fun for the staff to go through. So,
How'd we do?
yep,
Two
yep,
high individuals.
yep.
Nice. The other thing I was going to ask on was did we hear a while back the Texas Sports Bank Complex, they were going to put up like cameras so that like families that couldn't make it in for like a sporting event at some point in time, they could like watch it?
Right.
Is that still
I
in
have
the
heard
process?
of that, but I don't know. Jesse, do you know of anything that's been
That-
going on with that?
If you're gonna speak to the mic, but that was more the previous recreation manager's.
Gotcha.
kind of a
Okay, I
pet
couldn't-
project,
Yeah.
so
I couldn't remember all the details. Okay,
we
just
can
curious.
bring it back, but.
No biggie.
Any other questions Joe might have? I'm excited about the Kirby splash pad. So we've been trying to work with them as well.
Ooh.
That's my
Setting the
sign.
mood, yeah.
So,
I was just going to say, we went, I took the kids back to the natural playground today at
good.
Unidad.
Did they enjoy it?
Yes. and
Okay.
There were several others. Anyway, it's still getting lots of
Great.
views. So,
That's great.
Thanks again.
Great. And we're looking forward to what we can do over at Santa Rita Park with that same type of thing. That was a lot of fun. What I really liked about it is it brought out the creativity within our own staff of what should we do, how we should do it, and I think they did some really great things, and it was great because they got to think it up
Right.
and bring it together.
Well,
So,
if you've got to take down any dead trees, just keep
we
those
know
stones.
what to do with them. We know what to do with them now.
Adding the bench at the splash pad at Unidad.
Oh, yes, we did have, you talking about the ADA compliance? Yeah. So we also met and contracted out with an ADA representative over at Unidad and Meadow Creek to look at whatever issues we might have addressing those issues. And so we will be adding a bench over just on the east side of the splash pad is what the recommendation was from her over at the splash pad. And then over at Meadow Creek Park, the only thing that they recommended was some adjustments to the handicap parking lot and some signage that was there. And so we were very pleased that the rest of the park and the rest of the areas passed, no problem. And we actually, we enjoyed working with the individuals so that we could get some ideas from them on how we can make it better accessible.
Awesome.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I've just had a few people approach me that are in like the softball leagues out at the sports complex. I was just wondering, how often do parks go out and maintenance the area?
Yeah. So at the sports complex itself, it has its own crews that work that area. So the parks crews basically maintain the entire site, all the way even through tournaments and things of that nature. So we're there every day. If there are activities and events during the weekends, we'll have staff there typically working those events, and but not usually after hours. So if you In other words, if you have something during the day, everything may be clean. By nightfall, if there's practices and stuff out there, we're not going to have staff out there till the next morning. And so the next morning is then our job to come in and clean those restrooms, clean up trash and everything else. And that's what we see also in all of our park systems as well. Because we'll get calls sometimes and say, hey, Kids Kingdom restroom is a mess. Our staff had just been there 2 hours ago, and they may not get back there till the next morning. And so we just don't have enough staff to be able to get around to every park several times a day. We have picked out several of our parks that we do try to come back to at the end of the day, some of our more highly utilized park facilities. But yeah, it's a challenge when you don't have the people that could either be right there all the time, like you see at some of the big parks and Six Flags and things like that, where they're picking up after people. It just can't happen in this kind of situation. So, did I answer your question?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you. They were just curious, like, how often they go
Yeah.
out. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
I've seen the robots mowing, but I just,
Yeah,
I'm not
we
too
do
sure.
have those as well, the autonomous mowers out there.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Good afternoon, Al Torres, Construction Management. Two projects, the 29th Street Complex Youth Sports Practice Area. The proposal by the contractor, the price was approved by council at their last meeting. So the contract was out for signatures. However, our ever diligent park staff pointed out a couple of issues that they wanted clarified before we actually signed. I've met with the contractor. I think we've got those ironed out, but I'm going to sit down with Roger and make sure we're on the same page, and then we should have that signed hopefully this week and issue a notice to proceed in the next week or so, which means construction could start as early as the 1st of November. So, and we're excited about that. The Riverbank Stabilization Project, the Freese and Nichols engineers are continuing their design work on that. We recently signed authorization for them to act as our agent on the FEMA permits, so they're working on that as well. They're working closely with our operations group, with Shane Kelton and Patrick Ferrick, because a lot of what they're doing coordinates with what operations does, river runoff from the streets and whatnot. So they're working on that. Carl also was working on a change order because the design work now includes a retaining wall to protect some artifacts that are along the river. So that design work wasn't included in the original proposal, so we had to kind of pause the design for that, but I think that's been taken care of, so it's moving forward as well. I think those are the two that I've got on here. I'm involved in some of these others, but I think unless you have any questions, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Al.
Alicia, could you give an update on Kirby Splash Pad?
So as of this morning, we actually signed the quote with the contractor, and we will be doing a deposit on the equipment only to start that. Our big push was to avoid a 5% increase, which was not in our budget. So they will start on that, which is, they said, anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks out from shipping. So, and then overall, we are about $55,000 short of meeting our overall goal. So we're very, very close, and we're hoping that we can definitely get the remainder of that before the end of the year.
And so we've successfully gone through all the reviews for the DHRC and all the planning reviews.
Yes. When we did the DHRC review, the only thing that came back was the welcome and donor sign. And Fast Signs, who is the contractor for that, said that they would work with the DHRC to get that resolved. So we're hoping that it comes out in our favor.
What's DHRC?
Downtown Historic Review Committee,
Oh, cool. Nice.
or River Corridor. The downtown river corridor.
Design
they
historic-
combined, yeah.
Design Historic Review Commission.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's two commissions, old commissions combined into one, and it included the River Corridor Commission.
Because Kirby Park is on the river.
Right there, okay.
Yes.
Nice, awesome.
We have a lot going on. Sir, could you update us on the foundation?
Yes, no real updates as of now. Javier Cruz and I are still reviewing all the bylaws and the bylaws and basically all the formation documents. So once we get that put together, I'll submit it to Oliver Rainey and Wotech for them to submit to the IRS, for them to truly give us our 501c3 status and all that stuff. So we're still in the process of getting that done, but still with a goal to have the foundation up and running by San Angelo Gives, first Tuesday of May. So that's still the goal. And we're also actively looking for anybody interested in becoming board members. So John James had to step off of that board. So we're always looking for people to join. So if anybody has any ideas, we will always entertain new people. That's all I got.
I think there's a few more updates to give. I'll do those as quick as I can. At a previous meeting, there was mention about the Mountain View Skate Park, the 1-year probation coming up this fall, but I didn't bring the date, but I'm pretty sure it's not quite yet. I think it's February or March. It'll come up, and I'll double check the date, and we'll put that on the agenda to discuss at that time. But I don't know if we've had any issues since the last time we met with the skate park. Let's see. Kids Kingdom, the playground. I'm hoping to line that project up as well to get it in the hoppers so we can make some progress on that. In the past, the Area Foundation had expressed some interest in helping to spearheading fundraising for that. They are still interested in that, but it may not be the time now because they've done that for a lot of projects, the Buffalo Soldier Memorial, the MLK Park restrooms, the Barracks 3 and 4, Fort Concho. I could keep going. So they're interested in helping, but not necessarily leading the charge like we had hoped that they would. This may end up being the foundation's first project, which is not a bad thing. I mentioned Kids Kingdom. It physically is in Santa Fe Park, so it is overseen by the Park Commission, but of course, y'all are interested in parks and recreation, so I mentioned it. And it could be a foundation project. It does need to make some progress in working towards its replacement. Parkland dedication ordinance, we had another meeting. For a time, we were told to kind of put it on the back burner, but we had a meeting more recently with a couple of council members and city staff, and we are bringing it back. We looked at the current draft of the ordinance and made a few tweaks to it. The city attorney's office is going to produce the final draft, and we'll take that to city council for consideration. We're looking at a meeting in December. Concho Christmas will continue. The leadership is going to evolve, and so Concho Christmas, that committee and Mr. Lee Pfluger are entering into a memorandum of understanding with the city and downtown San Angelo. Downtown San Angelo, during a 2-year period, will transition. Downtown San Angelo will take on the administrative role of coordinating that event, and the city will step in to provide a little more operational support role. We already support it now, but provide a little bit more of an operational role, as well as the city provides some funding for that program, hotel occupancy tax funding. So Concho Christmas will continue, but the city's taking a more active role in the next 2 years, and it will transition. Where it evolves from there, I'm not sure. It could all be downtown San Angelo, but we'll see. Let's see, Santa Rita Park. A few few weeks ago, the chief of police had a Santa Rita neighborhood meeting at a neighborhood church that was well set up with the way it was the seating was and the audio was. So we took advantage of that meeting. He said it was fine. We talked about the Santa Rita Park project. There was probably at least 40 or 50 people there. It was a good neighborhood meeting, lots of questions. So we introduced them to that project, talked about it coming up, asked for folks who are interested in participating in, finalizing the conceptual development of that park, and also, hey, let's step up and help fundraise for it. So we got a whole new list of names. The next step is, this week we met with the core group, City Council member Emily Jane Parks, and we met and talked about, here's our current conceptuals. Do we want to adjust it any before we show the group? We're going to set up a meeting with this bigger group before the holidays, hopefully early November. So we'll have an update for you at the December meeting. Let's see. I think that's it. Am I missing anything?
Any updates on the mail route, Carl?
On what?
On the Concho mail route?
No, sir, I don't.
That's right.
That's a Fort Concho project. But
That's perfect.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the archaeologist was still trying to make sure that Texas Historic Commission was okay with what's going on, because there were some artifacts that were recovered years ago at the site that they were wanting us to get back. That still hasn't been done, but we've engaged the services of an archaeologist to help us, and
Nice.
it will move forward. It's stalled a little bit.
That happens. That's okay. All right.
Any other questions about anything coming up? I know that's a lot.
All good.
Oh,
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Thank Carl. We'll jump down to item number 4. Consider future agenda items and discuss the next meeting date.
so we'll be talking about wayfinding at the next meeting. And this is the time where we take the November meeting, the December meeting, and move it to early December. So we're looking at December 4. We'll at least have wayfinding. Santa Rita, hopefully.
And then whereabouts for a location, so I don't go to the wrong spot again.
About-
Whereabouts for a location, so I don't go back to City Hall.
Oh, yeah, I think we'll be back at the East Mezzanine City Hall. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, just making sure. Okay.
We'll let
It's
you
my
know.
fault for not looking at the emails, but I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
All right, well, perfect. Well, with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. I forgot to do that last time. Is
Make a motion that we adjourn?
there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Oh, sorry, did you have something, Emily?
Oh, no, I was trying to do my button.
Get your vote? Oh, okay, all right.
Aye.
Well, with that, we are adjourned. I think I had too many flub ups this time.